What is good, everybody? It's your boy Troy, aka T King Mode, and I'm back again. Go ahead and tell a friend. And with me, as always, I got my homie, the one, the only, Mr. NFL, Mr. Fire Content Only, LQ Real Deal Fantasy. It's Laquan Jones. What's good, Laquan? How are you
Was
doing this fine
cracking,
evening?
Brody. Another week, another season. I mean, not season. Another week of where the season's halfway done, and I can't believe it. We're into week 10. That is a little nuts.
I cannot believe that we're in week 10 as well. We got some people in the chat already. Dynasty Barry, Fizzle, Toronto Dave. I see y'all. What's good, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us once again. Man, we got a lot to talk about today, y'all. So listen, we're gonna be doing a quick Monday night recap. We're gonna be doing waivers, we're gonna do starts and sits, but main thing in the show is we're gonna answer your questions, right? So if you guys have questions, drop them in the chat right now. What's up, Murph? I see you in the chat. Y'all got questions, drop your questions in the chat. We're going to get to them at the end of the show. So drop your questions from now and then make sure y'all liking this video. It helps us out a lot. I see Gene in here. What's up, Gene? How you doing?
Very
IOQ.
good.
We got so much to talk about this evening, man.
Yeah,
Let's
we do.
start off with Monday Night Football, man. Monday night was not too bad of a game. You know, it definitely had some moments, right? So we had the Ravens versus the Saints. Ravens beat the Saints 27-13. So I want to hear your thoughts, man, because this game was a little bit different. So, Mark Andrews, he missed due to his knee injury. Gus Edwards was out. We have Rashad Bateman. He's on IR. So the Ravens were lacking a lot of talent on their side of the ball. And on the other side of the ball, we had, Michael Thomas. He'd been done. Jarvis Landry, I don't know what the hell going on with him. He's been out. Chris Olave, he looked good, but tell me what your thoughts about the game, man, real quick. How'd you feel? Were you impressed by the Ravens and their win? Did you see anything from the Saints side of the ball that you wanted to talk about? What are your thoughts, man?
I think Kenyon Drake should get MVP for the game. I mean, he looked really good. And this season, it's been up and down. First 2 weeks, it was kind of trash. And then the next 2 weeks after that, he's inactive. But given opportunity in like the last 3 weeks, man, he's been looking good. I mean, I feel like Kenyon Drake should be in conversation for the starting job, even if Gus Edwards is back and healthy. I think you run the split. I think you do what you did with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards because Kenyon Drake is running the ball very well right now.
He impressed me. He absolutely impressed me. I was like, Kenyon Drake looked a little bit like Miami Kenyon Drake. You know what I mean? Like, he looked like Miami Kenyon Drake. Like, he had a little bit of juice. Like, we haven't seen Kenyon Drake look like that. And the Saints defense is no joke. So another one person we need to talk about, likely he caught one touchdown. He dropped some passes. Like, there should have been more. Like, I saw he tied at 9, one catch, tied at 9. He scored a touchdown, right? The thing about it is, bro, is that like you ain't got to do a lot to be a top 10 tight end or top 12.
That says a lot about the position. That's what needs to be understood. Like that position, it's up and down. You can stream every week. One guy will be tight end 3, tight end 7, tight end 9. 1 catch, 2 catch, whatever.
Nah, you right. I mean, it is what it is with tight ends. But all right, y'all. We ain't really here to talk about Monday Night Football all show. We got a lot to talk about, man. We got waivers. We got starting sits. We got questions. So if y'all got questions, start dropping them in the chat now. We're going to get to your questions towards the end of the show. All right, but let's talk about waivers, man, because there are a lot of teams on bye this week, fantasy relevant teams. Let me run down. Yeah. Let me break down which teams are on bye, man. We got the Ravens, we got the Bengals, we got the Jets, and we got the Patriots, man. There's a lot of fantasy relevant players on all those teams.
Yeah.
So we need to help the people figure out who they should need to pick up on waivers, right? Like because we lost Lamar Jackson, we lost Joe Burrow, we lost, the offensive weapons on all of them. There's a million. T. Higgins. I can go through the list, but y'all know who you're missing, right? So let's look to the waivers. So like people like Lamar and Joe Burrow, right? Let's start off with QB because there are a lot of available QBs on the waiver wire that should be decent fill-ins. So let's start off with, I think Marcus Mariota. Here's the thing about Marcus Mariota, man. He is very difficult to trust, right? Because sometimes He has the rushing upside, and then he could have big games. But that's one of the reasons why you're not starting him every week, right? He's up and down. You don't know which Marcus Mariota you're going to get. Not that great of a passer. Do you trust him this week? He plays Thursday night football against Carolina. Do you feel comfortable putting him in your lineup as a streamer?
Yeah, man, because they're going to run the ball. I mean, you have to be able to stream quarterbacks like him that have some type of upside, and every single week he has rushing upside. I feel as though they're a run-first offense, so you have the upside of him running the ball in. The times that he does throw the ball, he's not terrible, and he's dumping it off to Cordero Patterson now that he's back. So it's like we have to trust Mariota. I've had Mariota for the last 3 weeks. I started off streaming quarterbacks, and he's one of the ones I actually kept. He's a nice little combo of like when you have a Tua and you have Mariota in the super flex, you're like, I have a good decent amount of like points.
But what about one QB league? Do you
One
trust
QB
him?
leagues, you really have to be deep right now into like streaming to where like we're in week 10. If you're still streaming that quarterback you can't stick with and Mariota's that guy, you're pretty much expecting the points of like between 15 to 20 points. That's something you have to accept at this point late in the season in a one quarterback league, which I'm okay with. You know what I mean? I like Mariota every single week just with the upside of him running the ball.
Yeah, you got guys also. There's other guys who are on the waiver rounds. Like Daniel Jones is still widely available on waivers. You guys like Jimmy G with Josh Allen. We need to talk about the Josh Allen injury. So let's pivot a little bit. The Josh Allen injury. So Case Keenum is Josh Allen's backup. Josh Allen, for those who don't know, he's dealing with the elbow injury. That he could be out this week. He could be out multiple weeks. And one thing that people don't realize is that he actually had a very similar injury, the UCL injury, his rookie year. He missed 4 games his rookie year with this similar injury. We don't know the degree that he's injured right now. We still are waiting for more details. I believe they have a press conference tomorrow, but
yeah, we'll find out.
Before I'm saying, I say at least this week he's gonna miss, but it's really about how many more weeks after that is he going to miss, right? I'm a little bit nervous. So
I feel like the Josh Allen we have right now isn't the Josh Allen we had in his rookie year. I feel as though Josh Allen's going to play with this injury. He's going to stick it out. He's going to play tough. And I feel as though, like, if he's going to be able to go out there and play, I'm putting him in my starting lineups. I'm not really going to question it because, again, he could play through it. I feel as though if he's going to be limited is a little crazy right now after seeing that elbow injury. First of all, I don't know if you've seen the video as well. Where his elbow was
I saw. I mean,
like, bro, nah. Me doing that right now, it just hurt. Like I'm on IR right now doing that shit. But
I will say that, look, I think everyone's in agreement, right? If Josh Allen is out there, you are playing him. But I have big concerns that he's even going to be available, right? This might be a mute point. So for Case Keenum, if Case Keenum happens to be the starter, I'm not playing Case Keenum over some of these other options in the waivers, right? It's just super flex leagues is really the only time I'm really looking at Case Keenum. I mean, he's set up with a very good offense, but he's Case Keenum.
He might be available. I mean, I feel as though like in one quarterback leagues, absolutely not. You have other options. I'd rather go, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky if we go down that route over Case Keenum. I feel as though like in your super flex, emergency, you need to pick him up or you want to block one of your league mates. That's the only reason why. But I really don't know what to tell you because we don't know yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I pick up guys, especially in super flex leagues, just to block my opponents, right? And like again, it's a lot of guys this week that you can stream. Like PJ Walker had a bad game last week. He gets Atlanta this week and he plays Thursday night football. He's somebody that I wouldn't mind streaming. He has upside. Taylor Heineke, he's another guy that you can stream. So there are options that you have, right? If you have a Lamar Jackson, if you have a Joe Burrow, you can pivot to one of these options. They should give you enough points this week where you should be all right. So I wouldn't worry too much about the quarterback position. Now, let's switch over to RB, right? And then I will start off with Jeff Wilson. To me is the obvious name. So Jeff Wilson, he came in last week. I think he outsnapped where he mosted your boy. He outsnapped him. He looked good. Yeah, he outsnapped him. He looked good. He scored a touchdown. He was just really familiar with the offense. That's why the Dolphins made that trade. He fit right in. He's going to be, if he's on your waiver, somebody dropped him after the CMC trade, you're going to want to Jeff Wilson should be absolutely number one priority. But
Pick
other
him up.
guys, yeah, there's other guys I like too, though. Rashad White. So Rashad White got a little bit more run. We saw some reports that Leonard Fournette was a little frustrated about his usage. Rashad White got a little bit more run. Is this something that might play into the rest of the season? Maybe we slowly see Rashad White eating into that role a little bit. What are your feelings about Rashad White?
I think it's on my face how I feel. This is a thirst trap. He's going to be
really
he's going to be a glizzy gobbler for the next couple of weeks because
Rashad White is.
Listen, we keep seeing this. We keep seeing these little flashes of usage and we get excited, but then the fantasy points don't reflect. They are the last rushing yards per game team in the NFL. 31st, my LA Rams. But I feel as though we're looking at flashes. We're getting excited for next season, not this season, not the remainder of the season, not for playoffs. We're getting excited for what he is. We know he's talented. It's his backfield next season. We're not going out there getting him to put him on our bench to be a zombie. It's week 10. Playoffs are soon. They're coming around. You need guys who will be able to show up and show out when their name is called. I hate that you're going to go out there and rush to go get him just for him to sit on your bench.
But here's the thing. No, let me counterpoint, right? Desperate time call for desperate measures, bro. Yeah, we have bye weeks. You need a plug and play. What if you have injuries? What if you don't have a lot of depth? You need to play one of these guys. So you know,
even if Fournette goes down, they're not running the ball well.
Okay, well, here's it, because there's some other guys I prefer, right? So Kenyon Drake, he's not widely available. He's someone else that you might be able to pick up on waivers. He's not super owned. So Kenyon Drake, I like him. Latavius Murray, he was on bye last week, but he's been used a lot in the Broncos offense. The Broncos offense in general is gross, but Latavius Murray is still out there in a lot of leagues. Tyler Algier, he's still available. I know that CPAT is back.
See, I'm going to pause you right there. You're naming guys who have proven opportunity to perform. Latavius Murray, he has the red zone upside, touchdowns. Yeah. We've seen Tyler Algier run like a dog with a workhorse on his ass.
You
understand? 99 yards this guy rushed. You're not running out there to get a Rashad White who's doing nothing fantasy relevant behind a Leonard Fournette on a bad rushing offense. I get having guys on your bench, but the people you just named off, they should be on your bench. Absolutely.
Right. So I'm saying, like, obviously you want some of these other guys, but Rashad White right now is a good time, especially if you're a contender, right? If you have the bench space, if you can invest in someone like Rashad White, who has the ability to take over that offense, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what I'm saying is it's just like Jalen Warren and Najee Harris. It's the same kind of thing, right?
I love that.
But
that's a good conversation.
No, but it's the same thing, right? Rashad White and Leonard Fournette and Jalen Warren and Najee Harris in very similar boats. Leonard Fournette hasn't been very efficient. He has not been very efficient. So that's why Rashad White, he's getting a little bit more.
Top 7 in targets if we want to go the PPR upside route, but it's
again, I think Lenny's the better player right now. I think that it should continue to go with Lenny, but the coaching staff, it doesn't matter what we think. The coaching staff clearly is like, hey, we need to start using Rashad White more. And it's all about opportunities. Right now, it's a little bit risky to play him, but right now is week 10. Right?
How about we agree to disagree? We'll pick him up, but we won't start him. I'm with you on that 100%.
I think you should at least stash him on your bench. I think you should at least stash him on your bench.
Kenyon Drake, Tyler Algier, see if Jeff Wilson Jr. is available before you go that route for the worst rushing offense in the NFL right now.
Look, I have a lot of it has to do with the offensive line and all that, but I agree with you. And I see Dan Smith in here. He's shouting out. He's saying a lot of things about, they paid Lenny for 3 years. It's true.
We've seen people get paid and traded.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Right now, it's like because he could get cut. I don't know how his contract is.
Money. Like that doesn't matter to me.
But I agree though that I feel like the money thing. I've used that argument a lot, which is definitely a fair argument. We've seen
the money, right? We just seen somebody get paid 2 years with guaranteed money, shipped off 8 weeks into the NFL.
I feel like the worst part.
Don't matter.
Before, I feel like the contract, you used to be able to rely on that more, but now I feel like it's starting to get iffier and iffier. Where like teams are like,
suck you out.
Yeah, that's basically what it is now. It's you suck you out. And it's harder to predict things, but I completely understand. So
that puts another thing on our plate to try to figure out when we're doing this fantasy shit. Because like I would never, even the hottest take of me saying Chase Edmonds is going to suck, I was never going to go out there and say he's going to get traded. Like, you can't predict that,
Oh, yeah.
even with the poor production. We've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
teams stick with that guy, Miles Gaskins. He's still employed by the
Yeah.
Dolphins, by the way.
You absolutely can't. Like, there's no way to predict that. So I agree with that. But all right, so and before we move on to the next round, guys, make sure you drop me your questions in there. We're gonna do a Q&A right after we go through some of these
Drop those
segments.
questions.
So if you have questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. We're gonna get to them towards the end of the show, and make sure you're liking this video. Helps us out a lot. We appreciate you. All right, let's go over to the wide receivers, man. There's some wide receivers. There's a couple of them I like. So Devin Duvernay, he's more well known, more owned now. So, but if he happens to be available, go grab him. But there's guys like Wando Robinson. They were on bye last week. I believe he's probably dropped. I think he's still going to be the number one option in the Giants for the Giants. So you want to target him. Terrace Marshall. So I want to know your thoughts about Terrace Marshall, my guy.
The rise. Finally.
He's been getting targets. He's the consistent number 2 option on the Carolina Panthers. So is this somebody, do you trust Terrace Marshall as like a flex play going forward for the rest of the fantasy season? What are your opinions on Terrace Marshall?
I like him this week as a matchup. Constantly for the rest of the season, I'll be hesitant to just start and forget him, obviously. But I think if you're at the point where you're in the season where Terrace Marshall has to be in your lineup, that means, you got guys that are injured, you got guys that, just aren't performing, but, whatever your situation is. But I've been watching the last 2 to 3 weeks. He's been getting the volume. He's been getting the production. And what's really important is PJ Walker's looking for him in the red zone. They don't have CMC anymore. They don't have Robbie Anderson anymore. They have Terrace Marshall, who's playing that number 2 and is looking pretty good. You know what I mean? He's looking like why they drafted him. And I stood on, last summer to summer before that, old shit of him not being, fantasy relevant, because obviously you have CMC still there. He's not there anymore. So if he's on your waiver wire, you should be picking him up as a productive wide receiver too on an offense that's, going to be playing from behind a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, I like him too. I feel like there's some other options, but it has been encouraging to see his involvement in the offense. So hopefully we continue to see that for the rest of the season. It's a bad offense though, and that's the thing that's skeptical, right? It's just, and we don't know, Baker Mayfield's going to be coming in there, Sam Darnold, or is it PJ going to keep that job? It's gross quarterback wise.
Crazy on the short week. I understand it, but Baker came in after, PJ Walker getting benched, but now PJ Walker is starting next week. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That's a little weird.
Nah, I mean, he didn't have a good game, but I feel like after Thursday night, we'll see how PJ Walker does. But if he just sucks it up, then. But I'm pretty sure the division is it's absolutely disgusting. But the Carolina Panthers aren't out of it. They're not out of the division. Which is disgusting to say, but the division is so bad that the Carolina Panthers are actually they're still fighting for a position. Yeah. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, there's some other guys there like Paris Campbell. I was really liking Paris Campbell, but he's an option, but it's just that offense, the Colts offense, I'm probably pivoting, but he was showing
all
so
the
much
bullshit
life.
That's going on too, like with play calling and the no experience at head coach. I'm kind of like fading that. Like, if anything in that situation, like if you have a Alec Pierce or you have a Paris Campbell, I would look for other options. Like, even like perfect example of what we just talked about with Terrace Marshall. Terrace Marshall's out there. You're dealing with Campbell. You're dealing with Alec Pierce. I'm rolling the dice with Terrace Marshall every week over these two guys because that offense is not it, man. The lowest total offensive yards this entire season. That is disgusting to see.
No, I'm agreeing with you there, my guy. All right, let's pivot over to tight ends, and then after tight ends, we're gonna go through a couple starts and sits. But tight ends, there's a lot, man. Cole Kmet finally showed up. He was my fantasy MVP. Cole Kmet, for those who don't know, I had him as my fantasy MVP before the season. He was sucked it up for most of the season. Now, for the past couple of weeks, he's getting involved in the offense. They're looking toward him towards the end zone. He's scoring touchdowns. Like, that's what you want.
It's like preseason.
Exactly. It's like preseason. And he's the type of guy who's widely available because everyone dropped him. So and he's playing the Detroit Lions. He's going against the Detroit Lions this week. I absolutely love Cole Kmet. Another guy that I really like is Cade Otton, the tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With Cameron Brate, he's been injured a lot past couple weeks, and Cade Otton has been involved. We saw last week how Tom Brady was looking for him. I really like Cade Otton as a streamer this
We
week
don't
as
need to talk
well.
about that game, but we can go on.
Yeah, we can. We can talk about it, bro. I'm sorry,
Nah, I'm good. I'm
Your
good.
Rams suck, bro. But anyways, the Rams suck. But there's other guys like Evan Ingram. Surprisingly, is still widely available. He didn't have a good game last
Yeah.
week, but I like
That's the
him.
thing, bro. It's crazy he's still available after all the
Inconsistent.
hype he's had, though.
I know, but but man, he's inconsistent, bro. It's kind of
It's not him. It's Trevor Lawrence, to be honest.
in
He's
the
not hitting
offense.
the targets he needs to be hitting, but he had a good matchup, bounce back week with him and Kirk. Great points. Jacoby Myers shitted the bed on me, but that's neither here or there. But whatever. Moving on.
No, yeah, we can move on real quick. Yeah, some other guys I like: Jawan Johnson, Mike Gesicki didn't have a good game, but Greg Dulcich, he's probably the first name I should have mentioned. If he was dropped, Greg Dulcich, tight end, Broncos tight end,
He's
he would
probably
be
the
like
number one,
my
waiver
number one
wire
guy.
tight
He's
ends. Yeah.
if anyone dropped him during the bye week, get you some Greg Dulcich. All right. Oh, he said Evan Ingram got hurt, but Evan Ingram got hurt, so I missed that apparently. But apparently Evan Ingram got hurt, so
I think
that's
he's okay,
probably one
though.
of the reasons. But I think I don't see anything that's like a serious injury, but that's probably one reason for lack of production. But great call out, my guy. All right. So, anyways, we're gonna pivot over to starts and sits now. We're done with waivers. Moving on to starts and sits. So we have a couple matchups. So we were using Fantasy Pros rankings just to see who is close in ADP. So we're gonna talk really quick about who would we rather start between, whether it's running back, quarterback, whatever. We have a couple names. If y'all have some questions, again, we're going to get to those towards the end of the show. So we'll quickly go through these starts and sits, and then we're going to pivot to questions in the chat. Again, we appreciate y'all. Make sure you're smashing that like button. Thank you guys so much. All right, we're going to start off with the first one. We got a pair of running backs. Who would you rather start, LQ? And people in the chat, make sure you can tell me your opinion too. Who would you rather start? Miles Sanders versus Washington, or Tony Pollard versus Green Bay? Miles Sanders or Tony Pollard?
Damn. I might go Miles Sanders because he's playing really good football, and I think Zeke might be returning back. I don't think it's Tony Pollard's full blown workload this week, so I might go Sanders. Feels weird, but I might go Sanders.
Sanders, ooh. I feel like, yeah. So let's say if Zeke is back, then I feel like Sanders might be an easier option, even though Tony Pollard's been efficient. But if Zeke is out again, I know he's trending to playing, but if he's out, I think it's easily Tony Pollard. But I feel like with Zeke in, I think it's a little shaky.
He's back in because, believe it or not, they're not passing either one of them the ball. Like, they're not catching a lot of passes. So not much PPR upside there. Like, they're at the bottom of the table in running back target percentage. So just go Sanders.
And before we move on, we got a super chat question. Shout out to Fizzle. All right, let's talk about this. Had a Colts fan trade Justin Fields for Sam Ellinger when the Matt Ryan announcement came out. 14 team super flex. Please roast this dude, please, yo. I feel bad, Fizzle, for even roasting this guy because that man, he must be hurt right now.
What the?
No,
what are we doing?
I mean,
what's his app? Drop his app, yo. I'm gonna go on his DMs.
Yes. See, this is good cop, bad cop, right? Because I wasn't even going. Let me put it on for the other people, right? The people in the chat to see, people on YouTube to see.
Drop the app.
But see, listen, man. LQ is ruthless. LQ
I don't care if it's Instagram or Facebook. Drop the app.
My guy is crying, bro. My guy is crying himself to sleep. Ooh, I feel bad for your friend or whoever that was, bro. That man gonna have he gonna be. He's probably punching the air right now. Oh my god. Man, all right, we got a couple more starts and sets, right? All right, so we're gonna switch over to wide receivers. Who would you rather start? DJ Moore versus Atlanta, or Chris Godwin versus Seattle? DJ Moore or Chris Godwin?
Give me more. Higher target share, higher red zone upside. Red zone efficiency is not that great for Tampa. DJ Moore's that guy. We just seen PJ Walker launch a 70-yard winning touchdown to him. Like, I know it was slow that entire game. Like, it took to the third quarter for DJ Moore to get activated, but that Falcons defense are giving up, points to the wide receivers. So I'm going DJ Moore on the Thursday night.
I feel like it's sort of close, man. I feel like it's not.
No, it is close. It's close.
It's really
definitely close.
There's
It's a toss up, really, if you have this option in your league. But I'm going with touchdown.
I feel like this is a very realistic option that a lot of people have in their leagues. If it was me, I think some people saying Moore, some people saying Godwin. I think I'm gonna go DJ Moore. I'm gonna go DJ Moore. It's not easy, but I think I'm gonna go DJ Moore in this one. Yeah. All right, let's pivot. Okay, so we're gonna stay with wide receivers. Would you rather have? We don't know what's happening with Keenan Allen. We know Mike Williams is gonna be out. Would you rather start Josh Palmer versus San Francisco or Terry McLaurin versus Philadelphia? Josh Palmer or Terry McLaurin?
Give me Palmer. The Eagles defense is really like that. Bradbury, you got Slay, Garner leading the league right now in interceptions. Like, nah, I'm not messing with Tyler Taylor.
And here's the thing, y'all. These people, and the reason why I'm going with these guys, because they're ranked back to back in consensus rankings right now. Yeah. Josh Palmer versus Scary Terry. I think that I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Josh Palmer.
No, I like Dan's question right now.
Oh no, I see it. I know. I see Dan Smith. Dan, I see your question. I want to get to that.
One too.
It's a great question. I'm gonna save that. We're gonna switch over to Q&A very soon. So Dan, I see that question. I really like it. So we're gonna address that a little bit. But yeah, I think. But if Keenan Allen plays, do you still like Josh Palmer over Scary Terry? What's your opinion there?
Bro, first of all, Keenan Allen made his hamstring worse on the bye week. Nah, it's a dub for Keenan Allen. He's not getting back into my starting lineup until further notice. I don't care if he blows up for 35 on my bench.
No. I'm just saying, like, if he plays, though, are you just it doesn't change your opinion for Josh Palmer.
Have Keenan Allen already secured Josh Palmer in like week 3. Like, it's a dub for Allen. Like, I don't care if he plays or not. Palmer's in my starting lineup.
All right, I respect it. I respect it. Okay, let's go. Let's switch over to tight ends. We talked about 2 tight ends, right? Some popular ones. Who would you rather play, Cade Otton or Cole Kmet? Who are you playing, Cade Otton or Cole Kmet?
Ugh, God damn it.
I'll tell you who they're playing. Cole Kmet gets Detroit, and Cade Otton gets Seattle. 2 good matchups for tight ends. Who would you rather play? Chat, who would you rather play, Cade Otton or Cole Kmet?
I think Kmet has more volume on his side. I feel like 4 to 5 targets is a lot more than the 2 to 3 that Otton might see with Evans, Godwin, Fournette. That's the order right there. You know what I mean? At least with Cole Kmet, you got Mooney and then him and then Claypool. That's just my opinion of like what the order will be this week. But I'm going Cole Kmet.
I think I'm gonna go Cole Kmet, but it's so close. It is so close.
It's disgusting because he scored that touchdown last week. That's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, right. But look, it's I think I like Cole Kmet, but I feel all right. We got one more. We're gonna go quarterback. Would you rather play Jimmy G versus the Chargers or T-Law versus Kansas City? They're ranked back to back. Jimmy G versus the Chargers or T-Law versus Kansas City?
Ooh. Fuck.
I know it's look. There's reasons why they're ranked back to back. It's tough. I try to get the ones that are not obvious.
Give me T-Law. Give me T-Law.
I'm
going for the simple fact of the points that Travis Etienne's going to see out of the backfield, catching the ball against the Chiefs, and then
the chat's divided.
I think Christian Kirk can cut up that slot. So I'm going to go T-Law against Kansas City. It's going to be a game closer than what we think.
But it depends on what you think. So for the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? I guess game script would be favoring T-Law, where it's like you're expecting them to play catch up. The Jaguars defense is good, but Patrick Mahomes and them boys, they could run up the score. T-Law is gonna have to
Yeah.
come from behind, shoot out. But Jimmy
I'll
G,
be surprised if he doesn't have 30,
the Chargers defense isn't great here. The Chargers defense hasn't been great, but Jimmy G's gonna be dump off. We'll see about Debo. Debo, he's questionable now. Hopefully he plays this week.
My concern really is just the running game. Like I think CMC is just going to take over. We'll probably get one touchdown out of Jimmy G. Like,
But if it's a dump off to CMC, then Jimmy G gets the
yeah,
points.
we've seen this man catch, throw, and run a touchdown. I think he's going to be able to do it all.
Yeah, if I had to guess, oh, this is really tough for me. I don't think there's an obvious answer.
There's
I I think I'm going to go. If it's me, I'm gonna go T-Law, but I'm gonna go T-Law reluctantly. But y'all, we are gonna switch gears here. We are gonna go to the chat. Now we're gonna get to your questions, right? So if y'all got questions, make sure you drop them in. We're gonna pivot right now. I saw some great questions in the chat, so I'm gonna find them. I really appreciate you guys, but listen, man, week 10. Okay, we're gonna start off with Gene here. Okay, what do y'all think about Jalen Warren and Najee? So we addressed it a little bit earlier. So do you think, I saw some reports, do you think that Jalen Warren takes over the backfield? Do you think we see more of a Zeke, Tony Pollard split from here on out? What is your opinions about this backfield?
They have to split that backfield in half because it's becoming way more noticeable that Warren has that juice. He has that burst. He's showing like he can really do some work in that backfield. And Najee, he's just looking like ass to be honest. I mean, I feel like if they split that backfield in half to get it like a 1-2 punch instead of just Najee, and then out of nowhere, they use Warren. And I feel like Najee for the rest of the season, he's in question if he's a start or sit, man. Like I can't really like say like what his finish will be, but it's disgusting.
Yeah, I have to think that the combination of the offensive line not being great and Najee's injury.
Offensive line was trash last year, too. We can't even cop that plea for him.
I know. I feel the injury has to be one of it because Najee just looks incredibly bad. So you have to think the injury is playing. It has been playing a significant role, but regardless, Warren has more juice than Najee. It's not even debatable, right? Clearly,
it's
Jalen
noticeable.
Warren
It's really noticeable in games, and it's like, why didn't you do this 2-3 drives before? Like, why are you waiting this late in the game?
Yeah, it's so obvious. So I think it's going to be more of a Tony Pollard split. And again, we saw some rumors about maybe Jalen Warren gets more. If he takes over the backfield, that would be unbelievable because they spent such a high draft pick on Najee. So we'll see how that plays out. But I really do like Jalen Warren. He should pick him up. I don't know if we addressed that during waivers, but if Jalen Warren is available, definitely pick him up, stash him on your bench. Make sure to do that. Okay. Thoughts on Jared Goff? What's up, Cody? Shout out to Cody. I'm going to be on that show tomorrow. It's going to be dope. Make sure y'all tune in to Smash Hit Sports. Me and Cody are going to be doing a show tomorrow. Okay. Jared Goff, what are your thoughts on him in general?
My thoughts in general with Jared Goff, man, it's really misleading because they score a lot of touchdowns, man. But Jared Goff is frustrating sometimes when you're watching the game and you're watching the fantasy points like throughout the game. It's very frustrating, but he's mid. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. He's mid-tier of quarterback. If you're in a super flex, fine. But one quarterback leagues, man, I am trading for a quarterback that I can be confident in because we've seen them put up no points, 3 points after coming off of being number one, scoring the most points in the league. And it's like, here's the turn. Here we are with Jared Goff once again.
I feel like Jared Goff started the season off hot and then he kind of fizzled out. There's a lot of other QBs I'd rather start over Jared Goff. Super flex, I don't mind playing him, but yeah, he's someone that he's definitely hard to trust. Okay, let's switch to Rice Cake Randy. 12 team, half PPR, half points per first down, dropping Melvin Gordon for a high-end handcuff stash like Hilliard or wide receiver 3 like Gallup? Uh,
Um, I mean,
I
Gordon's in the limbo zone right now.
I mean, I rather if I don't know if Hilliard's the guy that I want, but I would rather pivot to if you can find someone similar to again like a Jalen Warren. That's somebody I'd be more interested in, right? Like someone who like has maybe more like
Algier.
Rashad White, like Algier, Rashad White, uh, Jalen Warren. Those are more of the guys. I mean, Hilliard, like, he could be a hand. I mean, I guess he falls to that same category, right? Derrick Henry
Yeah.
did get hurt. Hilliard, we've seen him in the opportunity. He has upside. So yeah, I think I would rather do the Hilliard option than Gallup. Is just wide receivers. There's just so many of them. There's not only so many running backs that have the upside. If
Yeah.
there's an injury, and also he has a little standalone value. He didn't really do anything last week, but I think I'd rather go Hilliard here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. Now, again, guys, appreciate you. If you have any other questions, make sure you're dropping them in here. We'll be on for a few more minutes, making sure we get to all your questions. Make sure y'all liking this video. We really appreciate y'all. Okay. 12-team PPR. Start Singletary or DJ? DJ Moore.
More.
DJ Moore,
More.
especially, but I don't know with Case Keenum. Do they run the ball a little bit more? Do we see more upside with
They got Naeem
Singletary?
Hines. They got James
Maybe,
Cook.
but I think DJ Moore thinks has more upside. Okay, question. Dynasty, 10-team PPR, 2 QB PPR. Would it be crazy to have Tua and Tyreek and still want to trade for Waddle? No, it's not crazy. Because
No.
when it comes to that type of offense, if it was a low scoring offense or just a bad offense, you don't want that. But in terms of this situations, you want pieces of that offense. So
We're
I
looking
do
at
not.
Corey Hall and Isaac Bruce right now, man.
Yeah, I do not mind this at all. I would love to trade for them, but I would have to give up so much of my team to do that. But that would be awesome. Okay. I have Eckler, Walker, Dillon, and Gordon as my RBs. Would you drop Gordon to get a high upside handcuff like Hilliard or Spiller?
No. Is this redraft? I mean,
I'm,
Dynasty?
I'm guessing it's redraft. Would you drop? So he asked kind of a similar question earlier. I feel that I mean not Hilliard. Spiller's making his case for RB2. I feel you might as well just keep him because technically they're saying that he's still the starter running back. I think I would still keep Gordon. I don't think you need to drop anyone right now. Okay. Chris says, appreciate the work. Pick 2, cut 2. 12-team half PPR. Deontay Johnson, Melvin Gordon, Rashad White, Deion Jackson. I would cut Melvin Gordon
And White.
Melvin Gordon and White. I don't know what's going on with Jonathan Taylor, but I think that I would cut because with at least Deion Jackson, he didn't look great, but with JT being injured this whole year, Deion Jackson has so much more value. So I think I would cut Gordon and White in this situation. All right, let me see. Just send a comment for. All right, guys. We have a few more questions that I think we're gonna get to. Let me just check here. Okay. So I wanted to address this question. So Garrett Wilson is on bye this week. So let's answer this question for next week. So Alan Lazard or Garrett Wilson, who do you feel more comfortable playing?
Garrett Wilson, unfortunately, as nasty as that sounds. I just feel like there's a lot going on in that locker room with the Packers, and it's spewing out. There's not a lot of confidence in what's going on the field because Aaron Rodgers' body language is straight up like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't care. Like, it is what it is. I'm about to just quit and start a podcast.
All right. Question. Rest of season, Lamar, Tua, Fields, or Herbert? I think Lamar. I think I'll go with Lamar. I think Lamar still has upside. Fields is doing his thing, but give me Lamar.
I'm surprised you ain't say Tua. I'm gonna say Tua because you ain't say it.
I mean, Tua's amazing. Tua's amazing, but like I think he's still going to continue to ball out. He's going like back-to-back games with 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's killing it.
They're already breaking records.
And look, he got eat a lot of crow because LQ was one of the biggest Tua haters I know, and I had to stick up for my boy. No, you were hating on Tua so hard, bro. You were hating on Tua
until things have changed of getting
Uh-huh.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, you were hating on him before, bro. Get out of
No,
here.
he
But
just
I'm
had
glad you
Waddle and
came.
Devontae Parker.
I'm glad you came around though. Okay, Rams backfield. Why not stick with Henderson Jr.? Why don't they stick with Henderson Jr.?
Here's the thing.
Yeah, tell us about that. I don't know
This is
why they're not
triggering.
doing.
This is seriously triggering because even talking with insiders that cover the Rams, they don't even know. And Sean McVay knows that Henderson is the more efficient back. I mean, he's leading the backfield in yards per carry. And this past week, we clearly seen that he's the better running back. Why are we not leaning on him? Like Cam Akers had 0.6 yards per carry. Do you understand how bad you need to be to do that?
It's very bad. It's
Like,
terrible. Just this.
nobody knows.
They should just make him a workhorse. I don't know if they're just trying to save him, whatever. But Dale Henderson just
It's
is by
contract
far the.
year. He's a
He's
free
just the
agent
best.
next year.
He's just by far the best back on the team right now. It's not
Run
even
him to the
close.
freaking core of the earth. Like, I don't understand it.
All right, Tyler Algier, Jalen Warren.
Algier.
Algier. I feel like
Put up 99 with Cordero Patterson back. Like,
I think I say Tyler Algier. I feel like Jalen Warren, if it's gonna be hard to trust him until they just turn over the reins to him. So I'll say right now, Tyler Algier. Great question though. Okay, would you trade away Henry for Chubb and Lamar, or Chase for Lamar and Amari? I got her about
trade away Henry for Chubb, Lamar.
or Chase for Lamar and Amari. Ugh.
Henry for 1, 2, 3. I mean, I like that. If you can get
No, it's trade away Henry for Chubb and Lamar. So let's start with that. Trade Henry for Chubb and Lamar. Would you do that?
Yes.
I would do that too. Yeah, I feel like it's close. Okay, and then would you trade Chase for Lamar and Amari Cooper?
Oh, would I trade Chase?
Would you trade Chase for Lamar and Amari?
No.
He already has Justin Herbert. He doesn't need Lamar. I don't think for that trade, I don't think you need to do that. I think you might as well. But Chase is hurt though, so if it's like,
but Chase is going to turn up in the playoffs. That's why you do this.
I think it depends.
That's why you don't do this.
I think it depends on your depth, right? If you have other options you can play for Chase, then you don't need to do this trade. If someone like, hey, like if you're contending, you want to make sure you get into the playoffs.
I like Henry for Chubb and Lamar, though. I like that.
Yeah, I think for the Chase one is very specific to how the rest of your team.
What you could do after you make this trade, you flip Herbert and get other pieces.
But would you do the Chase for Lamar and Amari? Would you do that?
No, I wouldn't. Just because Amari's on the return.
Got
it. If it was somebody else, then we could talk.
Great buy low. I agree that Al Lazard is a good buy low. He's the only wide receiver on the Packers that's actually doing anything.
Jones is in a walking boot, even though they said he's fine. Tests are negative, but who knows how efficient he'll be.
We have the last question. It's not football related, but Wolverine and Deadpool, who wins in a fight?
Man, why are they fighting? But Deadpool can't die, and neither can Wolverine. I mean, like, I would have to go Deadpool just based on I like him better.
I like Wolverine better, so I'll just say him. Okay. This will be the last question. What could I realistically get for Fournette right now in redraft? Is it worth even jumping ship? No, it's not, because I feel that everyone at this point, you are selling Fournette at his lowest value unless you are trading him to somebody who thinks that Fournette is going to turn the ship around. It's just right now, I feel like because everyone's watching the game, right? Everyone sees what you're seeing. So right now, it's like, okay, I don't want Leonard Fournette.
Hear what you're hearing too, because White rumors, it's like who really wants Fournette right now?
I feel like if you're going to trade somebody, if you had Rachaad White, then you could probably trade Rachaad White and see what you can shop him, see what you can get. But I feel like Fournette, you might as well hold on to him, right? Because that's not the time to do it. But I regret the question. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We are going to sign off, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, we always appreciate you guys rocking with us. Before we sign off, make sure you guys are liking this video. It helps us out a lot. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you turn on the bell, man. Make sure you get notified. We're here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're also going to be here on Thursday. So during halftime, we rock with y'all Thursdays for 10 minutes. Me, LQ, and Samantha Hull. We get with you for 10 minutes. We recap the first half. We preview the second half. So make sure y'all tune into that show as well. LQ, can you tell the people where they can find you, my friend?
You can find me at Real Deal Fantasy on Instagram, YouTube, and of course, Twitter is my home base. That's where you'll get most of my content. I dropped the article today on Mojo of who to go short on. AJ Dillon is my top candidate, so check that out on the timeline right now.
Dope, man. Y'all can find me at T King Mo, basically on all social media platforms. Twitter is my home base as well. Guys, again, we appreciate y'all so much for tuning in with us once again. Make sure y'all liking this video. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. Again, guys, this is one of our favorite things to do every single week. We love y'all. Y'all have yourselves a good night.